Hello and welcome to the Dialog Rugby League breakdown episode number 1. It's the first week of the Dialog Rugby League and what a weekend it's been already. We've had 2 one-point games in the league so far and the favourites also not really running away with it. So looking like we're going to have the most competitive league in a number of years. So hopefully you guys will keep it here at the breakdown and also on ThePapare.com as we cover this league for you. Let's take a look at last week's results. Our first one-point game was when Police hosted Navy, and that was a cracking match as well. Police, despite having their Fijian firepower, didn't manage to overpower the Navy team, who finished second last year, so they don't qualify to get a foreign player, but they did manage to win against Police, 24 points to 23. Police very reliant on their Fijian, but Navy having a few more players across the park who can do a little bit more damage, and Sri Lanka Amerasinghe coming to their rescue. Once again, an outstanding performance by him. We had Havelocks who took on Army under lights, and that was an interesting game as well. Army will get better as the season goes on, but it was a convincing victory for the Havies. 23 points to 12 was how it finished, with both teams locked 6-all at half-time. Then, of course, we had our match of the week. CRNFC and CHNFC took on each other. The Maitland Place Derby, as it has been called. What a wonderful game it was. Went right down to the last few minutes, and it was 24 points to 23, the identical scoreline of the Police game, and it went in favour of CRNFC. Tharinda Ratwata with a 50-metre plus penalty to put the 3 points over in the last few moments, just to give CRNFC that last gasp victory. Air Force travelled up, or rather they hosted in Ratmalana. They hosted Kandy, and Kandy coming down don't really travel well to Ratmalana, especially to Ratmalana away from Balisara. And this time also it was not a lackluster performance, but from Kandy's high standards they will be expecting a lot more. 28 points to 19 was how that one finished after they led 14-7 at half-time. So few things to be worked on. Still first game blues for a lot of the teams, especially for Kandy, and we'll be looking for the teams to go on further upwards and onwards as the season continues. So let's take a closer look at our 2 one-point games this weekend. So the injection of the Fijian firepower towards, or not the Fijian, but the foreign players into the bottom half of the draw is just to make things a little bit more competitive, make sure there's no huge gulf between the top 4 teams and the bottom 4 teams. And I think the Sri Lanka Rugby Union got exactly what they bargained for, because Police, who were the bottom team last year, came through and really competed against the second place team also from last year, and it was 23 points to 24. Imose Vunivosa was the one who did most of the damage for Police, but they need to make sure that they get other players playing around him as well, and that's something that will take Police a little bit further than they got last season. Captain Sri Lanka Amerasinghe, of course, for Navy, coming through and continuing his good form from last week. So that's something that we will be able to look forward to from Navy. They will be relying heavily on Sri Lanka, and that's something that the rest of the coaches would have taken away from this game. Let's have a look at CRNFC versus CHNFC as well. What a cracking game it was. We haven't seen CRCH come to life like this until last year. CHNFC have been in the doldrums for a while, but suddenly a new injection of funds, a new injection of faces, and suddenly CHNFC are the firepower that they once were. And CRNFC were taking them on. CR, as you know, finished 5th last year, and CHNFC finished 4th. And there was a court battle as well a couple of days before this game, which added a little bit of spice to what happened on the field. And no quarter was asked or given by either team. And the Red Shirts went into an early lead. They scored a couple of good first half tries through a nice run by Joel Pereira, and also from their Samoan Joseph, who managed to score early on. He scored the first try for CRNFC, but after that his contribution really went downhill. After he scored the try, he lost the ball a couple of times in contact, didn't make any turnovers, and also conceded a yellow card. So CRNFC will have to have strong words with their Samoan flanker, because they really need him not to be a liability. They need him to really drag that CR pack with them. Where CHNFC had the advantage was in the tight 5, real experience in that tight 5, and real terrible scrummages to come up against guys like Satya Ranatunga, Terence Henry, Prasad Madhushankar, then you have Sajid Sarang also. Unfortunately, he went out early on with an injury, but having him in there really makes that tight five very solid. And CHNFC held sway in the lineouts and the scrums. Shehan Dias managed to win a few key balls for CRNFC, but they lost far too many lineouts if they're going to make a dent in this year's competition. That's something that they're going to have to look at when they pick their personnel for the next game. But the game went right down to the wire courtesy of the two fly halves, Samuel Madhuvantha and Tharindra Ratwatha, having outstanding games, both of them in the number 10 jersey, and Madhuvantha pinning CRNFC back time after time after time with some outstanding kicks and some good distribution as well. Navin Henakankanamge looked like he might have scored the match winner for CHNFC, but in the end, Tharindra Ratwatha's penalty from 50 metres plus with a nice tailwind behind him, he managed to put that over, and much relief for the CRNFC supporters. Heartbreak for CHNFC, of course, because they had come so close, but they still keep themselves in the running for that Nisa Haji Omar trophy, which will be awarded after the second round game between the two clubs. Let's have a look at the points table now, brought to you courtesy of thepapare.com/statistics. The Papare stats are what will keep you going throughout this whole season. You can look at your favorite players, you can look at your favorite teams, and also it's something that will be a very valuable resource for the coaches who are plotting to see what the other teams are doing and who their key players are. Let's look at the points table right now. Kandy SC familiarly sitting at the top of the leaderboard. They're the only ones to pick up a couple of bonus points this time. They pick, or one bonus point rather. They've got 6 points from their one game against Air Force. All the other winners have picked up 5 points. That's Havelocks with 5, Navy with 5, and CRNFC with 5. CHNFC finished with a losing bonus point for coming within that 7-point margin, as do Police, and Air Force and Army bringing up the rear still to register any points in this season so far. I'm sure they'll do that in the upcoming week. So that's your leaderboard for now. Let's look at our top performers over the course of this first weekend of Dialog Rugby League. And we had Richard Dharmapala with 2 tries and Vagesh Veerasinghe of Police also with 2 tries. A little man playing at the back of the scrum. Let's see how he goes this season. And in our top point scorers category, so far we have Tharindra Ratwatha with 17 points in that CR versus CH game. Gayan Salinda with 12 points, and Richard Dharmapala with his 2 tries with 10 points. So it's early doors yet, but let's see which of those guys goes on to win the top point scorer competition. Let's take a look at the fare we've got coming up for you on the second weekend of the Dialog Rugby League. We have Havelocks taking on CH under lights. That should be a classic game as well. CHNFC will be smarting from that defeat and coming up against a team that they feel that they can beat. Havelocks, after a first week's win, will be hoping to keep that advantage going on their home ground. So let's see how that game goes. Should be an absolute cracker on a Friday evening. We have Navy taking on CRNFC at Valisara. That's going to be an interesting game as well. Not the most favorite place for CRNFC to travel to, and Navy will be hoping that they'll be able to do the business, especially with Tiruna Veerasinghe's kicking boots on his familiar home ground. With the wind being the way it is sometimes in that ground, they will be having to come up with a good performance to beat the CRNFC team, who have looked better than they have for the last couple of years. So let's see whether Navy can win with their favorite stag and the home ground advantage. Kandy taking on Police. That match is the first match at Nithawala, and the Kandy crowd will be out in force to see what their new coaches have done. Sean Vijay Singh and Fazil Marija, 2 of the former favourite sons of Kandy, who are now in charge of the team, coaching that team. So let's wait and see what they can bring to Nithawala. I'm sure the crowd will be baying for some razzle-dazzle, and Police may be on the receiving end of some heroics from those Kandy outside backs. Air Force take on Army. That should be a very close game as well. 2 of the bottom place clubs, and both teams with their foreigners, so it might be a battle of how the other players really come in to support their foreign players. So that's what we're going to see in the Air Force versus Army game. Fitness is also going to be a factor. We've got rewards for you on this week's breakdown, and of course next week's breakdown as well. Rewards for everyone who watches. We've got a rugby replica jersey available for you if you answer this week's trivia question. Do join us on Facebook and answer either on the video or send us a direct message as well, and enter for this competition. Trivia question this week is, who was the top try scorer from last year's concluded Dialog Rugby League? Who was the top try scorer from last year's Dialog Rugby League? The winner will be announced on next week's breakdown. Don't forget to catch all the action live on this week's matches as well on ThePapare.com and of course on Dialog TV. Don't forget to join us also on the breakdown next week.